Thanks for joining us for another edition of Chronic Conversations. Jen is with me. She's over there. You may not be able to see her hand, but you can hear her voice. She says hello. And in the studio, I want to jump right to it. I'm so excited to talk tonight to my guest and fighter in every pro combat sport you can think of, a teacher of the year, a great role model, a great friend, Mr. Juan A. Torres. Man, thank you for visiting us tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
And a special thanks because he is taking time out of his training to be on here. So that's very. I know if you've never fought, it's hard to understand how important that is. But that's a very big deal. So we thank him very much. And we're going to start off. You face Mr. Randall on November 19th at the Lone Star Convention Center in Conroe, Texas, for the ABO Regional Heavyweight Championship. Now you're fresh off a win at BKFC 30. Okay. I went back and watched all your stuff. You always bang, but this one you seem to pick it up a notch. And I noticed the announcers talking about one of the things you wanted to work on for that fight in particular was your fitness. Is that something that maybe just got on point that time? Is that why you were able to bang? I mean, because y'all were going at it like middleweights.
Yeah, no, I definitely, ever since I got with Omar's boxing gym down here in Conroe, it's one of the biggest things that Coach Jose, he emphasizes a lot of fitness, a lot of throwing punches. In the boxing game, we call it Mexican style boxing, where we're just constantly coming forward. And,
Yes,
I
punches and
really,
bunches.
yeah, punches and bunches. That's right. And, with this fight, I think it was my first, pay per view fight since Mike died. And I just, in the back, I just told myself, like, you know what, screw it. I'm just gonna go out with a bang, and whatever happens, happens. If I gas out, I gas out. But I know that, you know, I threw every punch with, messed up
Bad
intentions
intentions.
and yeah,
Yes.
bad intentions. So,
What a
and it
fight.
just turned out to be a great fight. We ended up getting fight of the night that night, and you know, uh, my opponent, great dude in the
Hmm.
back. We shook hands. We wished each other good luck. But once we're in there, he knew that we're both
It's
going out
time.
there to kill each other, man. And that was the
And you
goal.
did.
And it ended up in a big bloodbath. I think I just posted a picture on my Facebook where, man, I'm just covered in blood, and it just goes to show the hard work. I think that fight too. There was, a like you said, a shit ton of punches thrown, and I think my total landing percentage was like 98%. I almost
It
landed
was
every punch.
amazing. You touched him with almost every punch you threw was accurate and dead on. Is that something you've been drilling more or working on, or did things just kind of come together for this camp?
I have. I've been, working on how I aim my punches, how I turn my wrist for certain punches, and it's just a whole lot of work that a lot of people, they don't get to see. And
Right.
with the winter coming, we're actually, Omar's gym is an outside boxing gym, so we're gonna be outside in the cold. Hit City back in Huntsville, where Coach Ernest coaches, we're
Shout out
inside,
Coach
and he's got
Ernest.
this. Yeah, shout out to Coach. He's got a diesel heater, so we get to warm up a little bit in that gym. But out here, man, we're literally out in the cold.
Do you hear Hammer in the back of your head telling you was spoiled anyway and you needed to be out here training in the cold, you
I
think?
sure do, because that's exactly what he'd have said. He would
Yeah.
have said some crazy shit like that too. The only way he might have canceled a training session is if it was snowing out. That's it.
Yeah.
Other than that, rain, we're training. Cold, we're training. So I always hear him in the back of my mind.
Yeah, and again, that fight was spectacular. If you haven't got a chance to see it, it was on the prelims of BKFC 30. You need to go check that out. That was an amazing fight. So I guess you're carrying a lot of that with you into your next fight, and you also mentioned um, on a video that I'd watched because I didn't watch just your fighting videos. I went back and watched the other ones, and you put one up where you're talking about Hama liking you to be kind of rowdy at the face-offs, and I saw the one where now you're usually calm and playful. People who haven't seen your face-offs and things like that, until the bell rings, you're kind of really playful and stuff. But this one, something set you off, and you said it would have been more of a style of a face-off that Hama would have liked. Explain to us what happened in that and what did get that rise out of you, because I haven't seen much get a rise out of you.
I don't remember. There's only maybe two or three, weigh-ins or face-offs where I kind of just flip my switch, and it's just the respect factor. We go in, and a real fighter is going to be respectful at the weigh-in. You know damn
Yeah.
well we can't do nothing at the weigh-in,
Right.
and we got those guys that that want to intimidate you and instill fear in you, and it's like, man, I'm not scared of it. I'm for the physicality of the sport. So
Yeah.
you're not gonna scare me that way, and I'll turn it back around on them, and that's the only time really you'll ever see me freak out at a weigh-in.
Yeah, yeah, it's like I said, most of the time you're fun and playful and complete professional and I get this that adds to the excitement and the marketing of the fight as well too though. So I get that side of it, but for that I don't feel like that was for anything other than you were really pissed in that moment. You were angry because I don't feel like you're the type of the guy that does stuff for show. You seem more down to earth. You're real. You're
I'm very realistic. You're never gonna catch me, you know, uh, putting on a show for the fans. The show comes when you're in the ring. That's what the fans
right.
want to see. All this
Yes.
extra drama shit, it's not for me. So I've never been like that. I've always been cool, calm, and collected. It's not. We're both
Not your
there
style.
for the same reason. We're there to
Right.
earn money, to either feed our family, our
Mhm.
kids, whatever the situation is. But you have those douchebags that want to act stupid at weigh-ins, and I can act stupid too sometimes.
Right. Sometimes you got to give them back a little bit of what you're getting, right?
That's right.
Because that's, I mean, it's they talk about it being as much psychological or even more psychological than it is physical, and that's a big part. That part right there, because that's the first time you're really kind of
Get to
facing
see.
off, and
Yep. Yep. And uh, the veteran fighters, they understand the psychological and the physical. All that comes within your camp, to me at least.
right,
Within the camp, you bust your ass, you mentally break yourself down, and then you build yourself back up for that weigh-in, for the fight, and the guys that think that they're just gonna instill fear in you at the weigh-in, it's stupid, man. It's stupid. But
yeah, because everybody that's a lot of people don't you hear from the fans a lot like so and so pulled out because they're scared or whatever, and I don't think, especially at your level, people are scared in the way people think people are scared. Nobody's scared of getting beat up. Nobody's scared of this dude. If there's any fear, I would feel like it would be more associated with maybe letting your camp down, letting your trainers down, letting the fans down, things like that. If you had any fear at all going in
right.
to it, would that be more correct? You
I,
think?
I would agree with that. Because these trainers, man, Ernest and Jose, and my buddy Chris, shout out Chris Buffalo Rose. He wakes up 3:30 in the morning every morning and holds pads for me. So it's more letting them down. It's more of, and it's
Right.
not even fear, man. It's one of those gut wrenching feelings like, man, we've been through this together, and you're putting all your eggs in my basket and
Hmm.
expecting me to go out there and show out what we've been working on. So I would say that's the most nerve wracking thing
Most
out there.
pressure.
It's funny, we're talking about fear because walking into the gym today, had a guy, he was sitting here watching, and he was like, "Hey, are you nervous about your fight?" And I'm like, "Man, I don't even know what that is no more. I'm there to fight. That's it. I know what the circumstances are. I know what the consequences of fighting can be, and
Right.
it is what it is, man. At the end of the day, we're, like I said, we're trying to feed our family. We're trying to promote ourselves, whatever the situation can be or is. That's what we're doing, and we all know that one messed up punch could put you in a casket.
A
So
guy
we
was
all
just
know the
in a coma recently.
right.
People die in the ring. I say this all the time that, um, boxing, you don't play boxing. It's very serious. And a lot of times I don't think fighters get the respect they deserve. And one of the things when they ask you that, I don't think they understand what a fighter goes through in training for that fight, because from the things I've seen, you were put through so much hell that there's not much that could replicate that in a fight. Like, what do you have to be scared of after having to go through camp with Johnson Ernest or some of these new guys or Hammer
Yep.
back in the day? I mean, after you've dealt with that, what's it?
The
Right?
only yeah, that's right. The only thing is that that's it. You don't want to make them look bad, and you want to make sure that, and it's nobody really ever knew this, but you know, when I go into a fight, and I've seen it like last year, it was like 5 or 6, 7 boxers, fighters,
Hmm.
MMA guys, bare knuckle guys that passed. And you know, Chris, he's one of the guys that you know I'm going into the ring. I'm like, hey man, if something happens to me, make sure this is taken care of. This is taken care of. You know, it's kind of like you're walking in to your possible execution. So you know, you
Right.
got to make sure all your ducks are in a row, and protect yourself the best you can, protect your opponent the best you can, and go put on a show.
Give us a introduction to your friend. I want to explain who this is and why they're with you real quick.
So this is Caesar. Caesar has been a huge part of Omar's boxing gym out here in Conroe, Texas, man. And ever since I've showed up and he showed up, he's shown me nothing but love, man. It's he's one of my supporters. Uh, anything I ever really needed, he's always just been there for me. And there's no you people take advantage of that kind of person, but
Right.
there's no reason for him to be so nice to me and bless me with things that he's blessed with me with, but he does it constantly, man. And any chance I get to put my supporters out there like that and show them love, I want to. And he's not the only one, but he's one that was here
Right.
today watching me spar, so I
Well, let
wanted
me
to
let me
introduce.
interject and interrupt you a minute and say I think that's just good karma. You're a good man, brother, and we're glad to have somebody like you out there representing us as fight fans.
Oh, most definitely. I'm also a manager too, professional manager for boxing.
That's awesome, Caesar. How long have you been a fan and working in boxing?
I've been in the boxing industry for 15 years.
Nice.
Yeah, and recently just became a manager. I started seeing how other managers take advantage of their boxers, and I'm turning things around and actually taking care of my boxers. And
Right, and
hopefully,
you.
after his contract is over, I get to sign him over. Hopefully,
Oh, I think so. I think you're on the right track. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you being with Juan, and thank you for your support, sir. We appreciate it very much.
appreciate you for having me too. So thank you.
Is there any businesses you have out there? Anything else you want to put out there, or people can reach you, or things they can reach out and to support you as well as you're supporting Juan?
Actually, I'm a home builder. I built homes from the ground up, and that's my bread and butter and whatever. Now that I'm over here at Homer's Boxing Gym, and honestly, this is where I really am trying to help out the most. And if I'm trying to get
Passion
sponsors
in.
to help out Homer's Boxing Gym, because there's a whole bunch of kids that need it here, and
Yeah.
that's the most reason why I'm here to help kids out the street.
And Juan's the same way. I've seen, you guys helping out with the kids and stuff as well. As a matter of fact,
And
we've
it's a
mentioned
big
it on other
impact.
episodes. Juan Torres is a teacher of the year.
Oh, most definitely. Like I said, it's a big impact by the kids. It inspires a whole bunch of little youth out there trying to become. Hey, man, my teacher did it. My coach did it. Hey, man, I look up to him. So a lot of people look up to him,
Yeah,
and
I'm almost
that's
50.
what.
I look up to him.
Yeah, and
He's a great
so
example, great role model.
and we have 5 pro fighters here in our gym. So, and
Nice.
that's what makes it a little bit more exciting. People coming working out here because they're not just working out by themselves. The professionals actually taking out of their time to help them train a little bit. Like,
Yes.
like he actually coaches a couple kids here how to punch, how to throw, how to
Mhm.
move, and good workout actually makes a big difference if you know how to do it the proper way.
Well, just being a kid, I know boxing for me was a way there. You have so much angst and so much energy and so much testosterone. It's a great way to distribute that energy in a positive way and not end up distracting yourself with things that could be negative in life. And definitely appreciated by all because the kids are our future. And a lot of people say, why would you bring a kid into a world like this? But it's still a good world, man. It's still got people like Juan Torres, like Cesar, like Johnson Ernest, like Hammer. There's lots of people out there. Joseph Francisco, Coach Kevin Kennymore, shout out to K South Promotions. There's so many great people out there that you can support. And we was talking about on our last show how important sponsorship is for these fighters. So if you have a chance to sponsor a fighter or a fight or a promotion, or Juan Torres has a shirt out and you can buy it, or you can support somebody like Cesar's businesses, please do so. And when they're reaching out for sponsorships, make sure you understand that it's a two-way street and that they're going to help you out as much as you're helping them out. And you're going to bring good karma, man. These are good guys and they need it, and they're helping out the kids. And just like with Coach Kenny Moore, a lot of that funds and things always goes back into the helping of the kids and the community, and we need more of that, not less of that. So thank you guys both for being so community minded and helping out with the kids, because there are a lot of lost kids out there right now. There's a lot of kids without dads, without moms, and homeless children. It's really sad to think that they're growing up feeling like they can't be safe, or that they can't have anybody to talk to. So it's great.
That's the reason why I'm doing it. That's the reason why I'm doing it.
Well, y'all are amazing. I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. And Juan, I know you've been busy a lot here lately. You've had a lot of fights. First of all, this will be your first main event. Is that correct?
This is my first boxing main event. So
first boxing main event.
Yes,
okay.
Sir. And it's with
you're the main event no matter what fight card number you're on in the
That's
order.
Right.
So yeah,
that's right.
It don't matter.
Yes, sir. So yeah, El Tigre Promotions, they blessed me enough to, let me headline a show, and this is as close hometown as it's gonna be for me.
Right.
And
so you better show up and show out for your boy Juan.
That's right. That's right. So
well, you've done the bare knuckle not too long ago. You just won the title not too long ago. You're defending the ABO regional title. This is the first time you're defending it. Is that correct?
No, I think this is the third title defense for the regional. Yep.
Third title defense for the regional. After this, I know you're also a pro MMA fighter, and since you're staying busy, do you have any more plans for MMA fights coming up, and do you plan to stay busy regardless?
I don't have any MMA fights lined up. I actually kind of fell off of MMA ever since I started boxing.
Gotcha.
And focusing more on the boxing. As far as anything else lined up, we're looking at February 11th, I think, around there, and that one will be in Humble, Texas, if I'm correct. I'm not sure if we have an opponent yet, and I don't really want to talk too much about it, just because I want to focus on Randall, the task at hand type deal, because he's a big old boy. And
let's talk about him. November 19th. How obviously you've been working on your fitness. So, in Carl Gotch in professional wrestling and grappling said that conditioning is your best hold. Is there any kind of drilling or any kind of work? Are you specifically preparing for him, or is it just another day in the office for Juan?
With all due respect to him, it's just another day in the office. If I go in there and into the gym every night, every morning, and I do what I'm supposed to do, I could pretty much take on anybody in this world, So yeah. I just gotta focus on myself, focus on, cardio obviously, and punch count is gonna be a huge, deal for this fight. He's a big old boy, so I plan on, banging with him, and I plan on tiring him out early. But I know also that he's not dumb, and he's been working on his cardio, he's been working on his punch count. He's got a good, trainer and a good team behind him, so it's gonna be a show. There's gonna be fireworks.
It is.
So
they say precision beats power. You have both. How is that going to work to your advantage come this fight?
Man,
98%, like you said, it's either 96, 98. And I don't even know where that 2% of punches missed, because it seemed like everything hit something, and it wasn't hitting arms, it wasn't hitting the forehead, it was on the face, on the liver. On the stomach.
Just I think my advantage is going to be just the precision and the footwork. The footwork, I think, is going to show a lot in this fight. Putting him against the ropes and keeping them there, and just making him always feel like I'm attacking. Even when I'm taking a break, I'd always make him feel like I'm pressuring him. Pressure is going to be huge.
See, that's something else too. I've talked to you before about, selling punches and so forth. And that's another thing that I don't really see you get tired. So if you do, and you are taking breaks, wherein as a lot of fighters aren't good at hiding that kind of thing, like you can tell, like they're just Like, there's almost that gentleman's agreement. Like, they're looking at him like, let's just not punch each other for about 2 seconds, okay? I've never
Right.
seen that in you, man. I've seen you get tired, but you're still pushing through it and punching. Is that all mentality? Is that physical training? Is that a combination of both? What is that?
I think it's a combination of both. Early on when we'd be in the gym with Mike and Ernest, and I'd be sparring and I'm getting tired. There's no stopping. Matter of fact, Mike used to, I'd be sparring one guy and he'd throw another guy in there, so I'm getting
Nice.
punches from four different
Fresh.
hands, and it's like, shit. Either you fight or you get your ass whooped.
Right.
So it's
So
a
you're
lot
good
of
at
that.
fighting that mode too, what they would call survival mode. So even in getting in trouble, is that why when like he connected with a few good punches himself, that seemed to but you seem to okay. So let me preface this. A lot of guys give the little grin at the end to say you didn't do nothing, but it's really a fake out. It's you touch me good.
Yeah.
You seem to eat it and smile, but it was more like a psychotic smile, like you like the taste of it. Like, okay, now we're fixing to fucking fight.
Yeah.
Is that what was going through your mind at that time? Because
I think when I smile, it's almost like a compliment to them. Like, hey,
yeah,
good shot.
good
Good
shot.
shot. That was a good one. Now it's my turn. Let me try
I
to
see
teach you
that in your
something.
eyes too. Like, here's
You
your
know?
receipt.
Yeah. So,
Tom
it's
Spear.
it's I don't, when you punch me and it hurts, you're not gonna know because I'm always gonna keep my poker face. I a lot of people that they smile and they try to thug it out. No, I'm
Right.
smiling because I'm telling you, hey, good shot.
Good shot.
Now it's my turn. So,
That's got to be frustrating too, though, to hit a guy in bare knuckles with everything you have constantly, consistently, and then just have him smile at you, and to see that it's a genuine smile, even though it's a show of respect, and you're giving him his props, saying, "Yeah, that was a good one, but it was a good one, but here I am, and I'm fixing to beat your ass now." So
yeah.
it was
Yeah.
almost like that was a mistake. Has it ever been hard finding opponents for you?
Uh, 2 fights ago in Conroe, we were having a hard time. It came down to the wire. I think the day of or the day before our weigh-in. No, it wasn't in Conroe. It was in Galveston.
Yes.
We found an opponent, and you know we weren't ready for him, but I wanted to fight, and
Right.
I'm hard headed, man. I am hard headed. Like, I've put in all this work.
I have noticed.
I want to show. I want to show. So I want to show my work. I want to,
Yeah.
be out in the lights. And we took the fight, and it was a split decision loss. And shout out to him for taking the fight and putting it on me. So you can't say nothing to that, but I'll catch you when I catch you, and then on to the next one.
You always seem to be attracting the toughest opponent that you could possibly face. You obviously enjoy a challenge and pushing yourself. How is well, not how is that different, but you are different because I won't mention any names, but being around boxing for a little while, you notice guys will take cupcake fights. They will
Right.
take, to build their numbers, pad their numbers. I've never seen that in anything from you. I've just seen you go out and take whatever they give you and kill. Is there ever a thought to who you're fighting, or is that just another day in the office? You don't care, and I just got a job to do, and we're going to do it.
It's another day in the office, man. And like I said, I come in here and I bust my ass, and it is what it is. I want to fight the best in the world, and you can't, get to the best in the world fighting
You can't be the
cupcakes.
best in the world without it, right?
Right, right. So, I want all of those tough fights, and it is what it is. Let the chips land where they may, and best man gets the win, and then we go back. The only thing I fucking hate is those damn judges, man. I hate when it goes to the judges. It
Look,
seems like that's the only way.
I'm gonna bring that up too, specifically some BKFC judges, because your last win was noted as your first win in BKFC. And let me tell you about a fight I watched against a gentleman, I can't remember his name, but you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the
And
British guy.
to look at the end, you had clearly won, and you look like you were ready to go 10 more rounds. He was like, let's do this again. He was like, no, man, no hugging you. He's like, I'm done. Like, you can tell you didn't want no more smoke. And like, maybe he knew that you won. So that is frustrating. Do you see judging getting better in general in MMA or that sport? Or do you just have to put that aside and try to go for the kill every time?
You just honestly, if you're going into somebody's hometown, you got to put it aside and you got to go in for the kill. You got to take care of yourself. You got to make sure that your cardio is on point, but you definitely don't want to leave it up to the judges. And honestly, even in your own hometown, you don't want to leave it to the judges. The
Right.
fans, unless it's like a freaking bloodbath fight, the fans don't want to see it go to the judges. They want to see somebody fall. They want to see,
Exciting.
as messed up as it sounds, they want to see somebody get hurt. That's what they're
Yeah.
paying the tickets, and that's what they're there for. They want to see someone get knocked out.
Have
So
you ever been? I know you don't seem to get very emotional, except for maybe in the moment at a couple of those situations. You seem very stoic. As a matter of fact, we'd had a conversation, and one of my favorite things fighters talk about is, "Are you worried about anything?" And then the number one thing you said is, "I only worry about what I can control,"
right,
which is one of the number one statements in stoicism is to worry about what you can control and not worry about the rest. How do you keep that mindset going when there are so many variables and are so many things that can go wrong, from injuries in camp to your guy not showing up for whatever reason, to just so many things that people don't realize go into making sure a fight actually gets together, that sometimes it's nearly a miracle that the fight actually makes it.
right. You just got to keep your head down and worry about your training. Worry about those of us that have to still do our 9 to 5. Worry about that. You can't. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the best at it. And even if I don't show it, um, like that fight where we couldn't find anybody, I was stressed. It was
Right.
stressful. It was hard coming to the gym, training my ass off, not knowing whether I had an opponent or not, which is
Right.
probably another reason why I took that fight so short notice. Because I'm sitting there thinking, man, I've lost 15 pounds. I'm in
Mm-hmm.
great shape. It's a lot of mind games. This boxing
A lot of
game.
And
So
emotions.
not just that, people pay tickets just to see him,
yeah,
Yes.
and
Yes.
everybody expected to see him.
right,
You
And next
market
thing
it,
you know,
yeah. It's out there on
yeah, you mark
Facebook.
it.
It's You do
Yes,
podcasts, you do interviews on TV, and then I can't imagine the kind of
and
stress
people
of.
take day off for those days. You
right.
know what I mean? They take off so they can see the fight, and they make arrangements so they can be there. And next thing you know, there's
Mhm.
no fight.
Yeah, it's rough,
It's
but
really rough.
you just you know you just hell, you gotta just let your nuts hang sometimes, throw them
Right.
over your shoulder, and say fuck it. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what
Yeah.
it
Because
comes
there's
down to.
there's nothing you can do about it. So stressing about it isn't going to help it or make it better. All you can do is what you can do, which is train. Do your job. That's your job, right?
Right, right, right.
Well, man, thank you for doing your job and doing it so well. And I know you got some training to do, so I won't keep you any longer. But I want to give a special shout out to Not Bad Creations, who is always a big supporter of this show. A special shout out to K South Boxing Promotions. Next fight, January 28th. And then, of course, to Juan Torres for taking time, and Cesar. He has taken time out of his training to come talk to all you a little bit about this fight that happens against Randall on November 19th, again at the Lone Star Convention Center in Conroe, Texas, for the ABO Regional Heavyweight Championship. Are there any parting thoughts you want to give before we get out of here, or any words for your opponent coming up?
Uh, just real quick, want to give a shout out to my coaches, my people that help me train, Coach Ernest, Chris Buffalo Rose. Without those guys, I'm not I'm not able to do what I'm supposed to do correctly. Um, Junior Santiago, top tier management group. I
Yes,
talk to
Junior
him every now
Santiago.
and
Shout
then.
out to Junior.
Junior, Dr. Chet Lane, he's running now. He's one of probably the head guy managing me, taking care of me, uh, putting me where I need to be. Huge shout out to Doc Chet Lane. Um, man, I suck at this because I forget everybody. Knock Hard Boxing, my only sponsor right now. Love. His name is Love. He runs the whole company, and he's basically putting the company on my back and making sure that I have something to go through each fight and make sure I look as good as
Beautiful.
I can with it. El Tigre Promotions, Felix, Alfonso Lopez, those guys, Chris. Without them, man, I wouldn't have a platform to headline a show
Right.
or my opponent. Shout out to him. He's busting his ass just like I'm busting my ass for this show. It's
Takes two.
yeah, his first main event and his first shot at a title. So I know he's not taking it lightly. my family and friends.
If he's seen any of your videos before, I hope to God he's not taking it lightly, sir.
Right? My family, friends, co-workers, everybody that's going to be at the show supporting me.
That's awesome.
Huge shout out to them. It could be one of those things where you walk out and nobody's cheering on you, and that doesn't. I'd rather be booed than nobody cheering on me. So.
Booed or cheered, but no crickets, right?
That's right. I hate the crickets. So shout out to everybody, supporting me. And shout out to you guys, man. Chronic Conversations, you guys are always there and you're always wanting to talk with me. So I appreciate you. Without you guys, I can't get my name out there either.
Well, man, we appreciate you.
Huge shout out to Caesar again.
And don't
Thank you, brother. Yes.
My new fighters, Esteban and Jose, they're coming up. First debut.
Yeah, I've got 3 teammates fighting on this card from Omar's boxing gym. So,
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, 2 guys, they're just freaking animals, dude. Esteban, I wouldn't be surprised if he was a world champion here in 3 or 4 years. That sucker is. What's his weight class?
145.
He's a 145er, and he spars with me and gives me just a hard time. I hate sparring him. When I get to the gym and they're like, "Hey, Esteban's gonna box or spar with you," I'm just like, man, I don't really want that smoke right now. I'm too tired.
Hang on, man. I might have a fever. Is that a runny nose I have?
Right? Yeah. I've done it before, man. I'm like, man, no, I'm not doing this today. So Andrew, he's fighting again. It's just they got a good camp here, and I'm blessed, that they, that they're letting me in and train with them also. So.
Yeah, and we're blessed to get to watch you as well, and we thank you for being a part of Chronic Conversations. You've always been so personable and easy to talk to, and my appreciation goes deeper than I could ever convey in words for all the time that you've took out of your life to spend with us and to spend with the fans who enjoy watching you, man. You put your life on the line, and I really appreciate that simply for our entertainment, and it is entertaining. Go check out Juan on YouTube. You can check out some of his previous MMA fights, grappling fights. If there is a form of fighting, you can find a YouTube video of him doing it, and they're all great. They're all entertaining. Make sure you watch that. Make sure you help out his sponsors. If you hear him talking about a sponsor and you have a chance to support them as well. Support Caesar, support the gym. And if you're not a sponsor yet and you'd like to be, there's nothing cooler than being a sponsor of a badass boxer like Mr. Juan A. Torres, El Martillo, because this coming November 19th, he will be putting the hammer to the head, to the nail. And I'd hate to be the nail on this one. Thank you guys so much for being on the show. Hang out with me as I wrap this up, guys. And thank you so much, guys.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And if I say guys one more time, baby, you can go ahead. Because my wife's great. She's my little producer, so she's giving me advice in the back, like, you done said like 75 times, bros.
Love
so she probably caught on to that. Thank you for my wife as well. Without her support, I couldn't do any of this. Thanks for watching Chronic Conversations. We'll have some information about some more shows coming up, and we're going to have another Jen and Jerry show coming up really soon. That seemed to do really well. And we'll have the DMs open for questions you might have. Juan, if you have any questions for Jen and I, be sure to send them in the DM or talk to me sometime, and we'll put those in as well, and we'll talk about them then. Until then, thanks, everybody. We appreciate you watching, and peace. Peace, love, and happiness, guys. Be kind.